Pep Guardiola gives Rodri injury update ahead of Newcastle versus Manchester City. He knows. Manchester City have been without Rodri in recent weeks, and Pep Guardiola has delivered an update on the fitness of the Spaniard. Manchester City will be without Rodri for Saturday's trip to Newcastle, and Pep Guardiola has urged the midfielder to show patience as he aims to get over his fitness issues once and for all. The 29-year-old is struggling to stay fit after returning from a lengthy layoff with an anterior cruciate ligament injury, and his latest setback has seen him miss games against Borussia Dortmund and Liverpool. He hasn't started a game since picking up a hamstring problem against Brentford in the first weekend of October. He has played just 1 minute of football since then, aborting his comeback attempt after coming off the bench late on against Bournemouth. Rodri suffered a serious knee injury in September 2024, and although he returned in the final week of last season, staying fit and hitting a level of consistency that took him to the Ballon d'Or in 2024 have proved elusive. That's why Guardiola is being cautious with his latest return from injury, and Rodri will miss the trip to Newcastle as he bids to build up his fitness. Rodri is making good steps. It's almost 3 weeks since the last step back, said Guardiola. He knows that he has to take the time to recover mentally, and especially physically with the problems that he's had, to be consistent from now until the end. Guardiola will also be without Mateo Kovacic after surgery on his Achilles, but everyone else is fit for a game that Guardiola expects to be difficult. Top, I never see the table at this stage, he said of Newcastle. Top team, one of the toughest places, difficult games, a Champions League team. They're doing really well. We're ready for the challenge. It's the beginning of a demanding run for the Blues, who will play twice a week from now, until January at least. With the 3 international breaks now out of the way, and the action not due to pause again until March, Guardiola believes this is the moment that the season really gets underway. The truth is, the team as strong as Arsenal in the last seasons, not just this season, impacts on many things, he said. The feeling I had in the past when we fought incredibly against Liverpool, I had the feeling they will not drop many points, and if they get a lot of distance, it will be difficult to catch up. Similar with Liverpool last season. We had that moment's experience, now we have in our careers. If you take an advantage of 9 to 12 points, nothing is going to happen if you drop points, and for the other one, it is incredibly difficult. We are in November, and in November in this league, nothing is final. What happens in February or March, be careful. But now it starts the season now. First start is when the transfer window is over in the summer. And now when the international breaks are over. Now will be until March we see each other every 3 days. Now the reason season starts. Important is to be there and to arrive at the end of the season with a chance to fight it. Winning tomorrow would be an important step for us. Manchester City are finding the shoe is on the other foot ahead of Newcastle game with Pep Guardiola, right all along Manchester City, travelled to St James's Park this weekend with an almost fully fit squad, while their opponents have injuries to key players. If you want a surefire way to wind Pep Guardiola up these days, head to a Manchester City press conference and ask him about last season. Why it went off the rails? What has changed this season? That line of questioning should do the trick. The reply will probably start along the lines of for the 1,000th millionth time, and then Guardiola will go on to say it was down to the injuries. There have been variations on the theme this season, including a loss of energy from the players and taking their eye off the ball. However, essentially last season's issues boiled down to too many injuries. That crisis was at its peak around a year ago. This time last season, City were about to lose for the 5th game in a row, and it would be a long time before things improved. When one player returned, another would go down, or players would push themselves to return early, only to find they then suffered another setback. There is no doubt that fitness issues played a major role in the way City fell apart a year ago. Perhaps that was the catalyst for the collapse, with morale falling apart because of the results that followed. This season, the contrast is stark. A year ago, Guardiola was struggling to fill his bench with first-team players. Now, he is having to leave international players out of a 20-man squad every week. Ahead of Saturday's trip to Newcastle, Rodri and Mateo Kovacic are the only players unavailable to Guardiola. While Kovacic is going to be out until February or March, Rodri could return this weekend. Guardiola will offer an update on the fitness of his squad at his Friday morning press conference. The lack of injuries has given him plenty of options. Against Liverpool, He had players of the quality of John Stones, Tijani Reinders, Savinho and Omar Marmoush in reserve. Every substitute could have played a role and has done so before. A strong group also lifts the quality of training sessions, and City are improving this season because the standard is high. Despite the tactical tweaks and personnel changes this season, Guardiola may be right that the biggest change lies in the fitness record of his squad, which for now is exemplary. That isn't the case for every side, and in Newcastle, City visit a club struggling with its own problems. Eddie Howe will provide an update on Friday, but it is possible that he will be without Nick Pope, Tino Livramento, Lewis Hall, Joelinton, Anthony Gordon, Johan Wissa and William Osula, as well as the suspended Dan Burn. There is hope on Tyneside that Hall and Osula might be able to return against City, but injuries have played a part in Newcastle's rocky start to the campaign, which sees them sitting in a lowly 14th position in the Premier League. That just goes to show then, when several senior players are absent at the same time, continuing to pick up results is extremely difficult to achieve. City found that out last season, and so far this season, they are showing that the reverse is also true. If Saturday's game comes down to an impact off the bench, then Guardiola will be very happy indeed. Manchester City have a match they dare not lose in a competition. They are desperate to win. Manchester City return to action this weekend in a good place. But for one of their teams, there is a huge fixture lying in wait next week. Everything might be going swimmingly for Pep Guardiola and the Manchester City first team at the moment, but that is not the case for Ben Wilkinson and the elite development squad. It was City's under-21s who kept the silverware rolling in last season, winning the Premier League 2 league title and playoff phase, while the under-19, which often consists of the same group, reached the quarter-finals of the UEFA Youth League. But in the early stages of this season, the Blues youngsters are 19th in Premier League 2, with just 3 wins from 8 games, and they are out of the EFL Trophy, losing 3-0 to Bolton and 4-2 to Rotherham to undo the good work from a 5-1 win at Oldham. It's not gone as anyone would have hoped so far, even if the primary purpose of youth development, which is to provide players for the first team, continues to be a success. There is plenty of time to get the league campaign back on track, but the Youth League is a competition City are desperate to do well in, having never won it, and after a bright start, they are in danger of failing to get past the league phase. That would be a mighty blow before Christmas, in a season that is already proving to be a test. Wilkinson's side beat Napoli 2-0 and Monaco 5-3 to take maximum points from their first 2 games. And after the opener, the head coach spoke about the benefits of the competition and the value it offers to the development of young players. It's a top competition. We had a really good experience in it last year, and we found, especially in the new format, you play the games are all of a really high level, he said. So, for us as staff, looking at where these players could potentially go, these are the kind of environments we want to see them in. Naturally, the longer you stay in the competition, the better from a developer's point of view in terms of looking at what's in front of you and being able to judge and try and calculate what's next for these guys. It's a top competition. Really look forward to it. Something different. The environment, the stadiums, travelling, the refs, the level of player. So yes, it's a competition we really embrace, and one that we know we really want to do as well as we can every year. The prospect of doing well has taken a blow with back-to-back defeats. City were unfortunate to lose 2-1 in Villarreal, but a 3-0 defeat to Borussia Dortmund at the Joy Stadium last time out was a major setback. Unlike the Champions League proper, the Youth League phase sees teams play 6 matches, so City have games left against Bayer Leverkusen at home and Real Madrid away. They head into next week's game in 20th in the table, with only the top 22 surviving the cut. Leverkusen are only 1 point better off, while Real Madrid sit third with maximum points and 12 goals scored in 4 games. The last thing City want is to go to Madrid needing a result against their youngsters. That makes Tuesday afternoon's clash with Leverkusen a huge one. Win and City should secure a spot in the competition after Christmas, but defeat will leave them looking vulnerable heading to the Spanish capital in December. Forgotten Manchester City star returns to scene of his greatest moment with transfer question to answer. Oscar Bob announced his arrival as a major talent at Manchester City at St James's Park in January 2024, but his journey since hasn't been smooth. St James's Park on the night of Saturday, January 13th, 2024, felt the moment when Oscar Bob announced himself as a star of the future for Manchester City. The young Norwegian played second fiddle to Kevin De Bruyne, who came off the bench to turn the game on its head and prove he still had it, but Bob was still a major part of the storyline. De Bruyne had equalised for City on 74 minutes and then created the last-minute winner with a fine assist, clipping a brilliant ball over the top for Bob. But it still required some finishing. The winger collected it with a smooth touch past Kieran Trippier and then showed his quick feet to move the ball away from Martin Dubravka and into the net. It was a turnaround and a goal that maintained momentum after the Club World Cup triumph, eventually helping the Blues win a fourth successive Premier League title. It also came with a ringing endorsement from Pep Guardiola, who revealed the role former director of football Txiki Begiristain played in getting Bob a first-team promotion in the summer of 2023. Txiki, at the end of last season, said to me that in the under-23s, Oscar Bob was the best player by far, and I said, "Okay, he'll go to Japan on our summer tour to start to train with us," said Guardiola, and immediately Oscar got something that is the most important thing. That is to rely on his mates. It's more important than relying on the manager. When the mates can say, "Okay, this